Beyond the pages of commonly recounted history lies a hidden secret, and can also be said that the most terrifying things you need to know about Arab slave trade. Veiled in shadow and time, its true horrors have often been overlooked, yet a resounding question echoes through the centuries. How deep do these hidden scars run? Brace yourself, for we're about to confront a truth so harrowing that it demands our unwavering focus and resolve. The dark secrets of the Arab slave trade, a chapter frequently overshadowed by its transatlantic equivalent. From the vast expanse of the Sahara to the treacherous waters of the Indian Ocean, this hidden journey reveals tales of unthinkable suffering and human courage. Join us as we delve into the terrifying truths that have influenced our world, revealing a past that is both terrifying and enlightening. The Arab slave trade constitutes a significant chapter in the history of human exploitation, originating in the pre-Islamic Arabian institutions and continuing through various phases until its eventual decline and abolition. This trade, driven by social, economic, and political factors, left an indelible mark on the Muslim world and the regions it influenced. Spanning centuries, the Arab slave trade unfolded in diverse ways, resulting in profound consequences for societies, economies, and perceptions of race. The roots of the Arab slave trade can be traced back to pre-Islamic Arabian practices, where slavery was an established institution. These practices were inherited and evolved within the context of Islamic societies. While Islam encouraged the manumission of Muslim slaves to expiate sins, the actual treatment of slaves varied greatly across different Muslim states. Factors like social political dynamics, economic considerations, and the logistics of the Arab slave trade contributed to the diverse ways in which slavery developed in various regions. Throughout history, slaves served multifaceted roles within Muslim societies. They occupied positions ranging from powerful emirs to laborers, soldiers, and domestic workers. The institution of slavery played a significant role in agricultural production, mining, and animal husbandry. Particularly, slaves were employed in physically demanding roles, leading to significant slave revolts. One notable example is the Zanj Rebellion of 869–883, which marked a turning point in the use of slaves for hard physical labor. The Arab slave trade was not confined to a single geographic region, but extended across West Asia, North Africa, and Southeast Africa. Rough estimates suggest that between the 7th century and the 20th century, approximately 11.5 to 15 million Black Africans were enslaved. The Ottoman Empire and the Barbary Coast played significant roles in this trade. However, the gradual abolition of slavery was driven by external pressures, notably from Western nations like Britain and France. The Ottoman Empire abolished slavery in 1924, and the practice was eradicated in Saudi Arabia, Yemen, and Oman in subsequent years. The final abolition occurred in Mauritania in 1981. As we unravel the enigmatic layers of the Arab slave trade, you'll be amazed by the resilience of those who endured this harrowing journey. So, stay tuned to this video till the end to discover the untold stories, the unbreakable spirit, and the lessons that history has to offer us today. Understanding the Arab slave trade poses several challenges due to its vast geographical scope, spanning from East Africa to the Near East and its extended historical timeline. Moreover, this phenomenon gained substantial attention only after the abolition of the Atlantic slave trade, making its comprehensive study even more complex. The terms Arab slave trade and Islamic slave trade are used to encompass this multifaceted phenomenon. One of the most heart-wrenching aspects of the Arab slave trade was the journey slaves were forced to endure across the harsh Sahara Desert. Millions of individuals, primarily from North and East Africa, were taken as captives and marched through this unforgiving landscape. Tragically, only about half of them survived this arduous trek, highlighting the brutality and inhumanity of the trade. Upon reaching the coast, the enslaved individuals faced another harrowing leg of their journey, the Indian Ocean crossing. This marked the Indian Ocean slave trade, a branch of the larger trade network, which gained significant momentum when Swahili traders and the Muslim era dominated the coastal regions. Slaves arriving on the East African coast were transported to markets like Zanzibar, where their lives took an even darker turn. Unlike the transatlantic slave trade, documentation regarding the Arab slave trade is limited, making it challenging to fully grasp the extent of the mistreatment endured by those enslaved. While estimates vary, historians suggest that between the years 800 and 1920, approximately 8 to 9 million individuals were taken as slaves, with the trade intensifying during different periods. Slavery persisted long after it was outlawed in Europe and America, even persisting in some Arab countries into the middle to late 20th century. The legacy of the Arab slave trade is far-reaching. It contributed to shaping the social fabric and labor systems of societies and regions it touched. Slavery's deep influence is evident in various aspects of Muslim history, from the significant role slaves played in the military and administration to the varied forms of exploitation they endured. Additionally, the Arab slave trade had significant repercussions on perceptions of race and ethnicity within Islamic societies. While the Quran did not inherently promote racial prejudice against Black Africans, over time ethnocentric attitudes and prejudices developed among Arabs for a variety of reasons. This prejudice was accentuated by conquests, the influence of philosophical ideas on slavery, and religious views on divisions among humankind. By the 14th century, negative stereotypes and associations between blackness and slavery became prevalent, reflecting the complex sociocultural dynamics of the time. The abolition of the Arab slave trade did not completely erase the issue. Instances of modern slavery persisted in some regions, particularly in the Sahel. Furthermore, certain 21st century terroristic jihadist groups attempted to exploit the historical notion of slavery within the Muslim world to justify their actions. This demonstrates the lasting impact of historical practices on contemporary events and ideologies. Before the emergence of the Arab slave trade, the specter of slavery had already cast its shadow across the African continent. Long before the arrival of external traders, various indigenous ethnic groups engaged in a practice that involved conflicts, capture, and the exchange of human lives. This system of slavery had deep historical roots, intertwined with the complex fabric of African societies. Tribes such as the Yeo Makwa and Marava found themselves entangled in territorial disputes and conflicts, often leading to the capture of individuals from rival groups. In this tumultuous landscape, people who were captured in these clashes became commodities, exchanged among different groups as part of a deeply ingrained tradition. The concept of slavery thus had a pre-existing presence in Africa, establishing a foundation for the tragic chapters that followed with the advent of the Arab slave trade. The demise of the Arab slave trade in East Africa marked a pivotal moment in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The once thriving trade network faced an inevitable decline shaped by a combination of forces that ultimately led to its unraveling. Slave insurrections, fueled by the relentless desire for freedom, emerged as a powerful catalyst in challenging the oppressive chains that had bound countless lives for generations. These acts of defiance, born from the indomitable spirit of those subjected to bondage, shook the foundations of the trade and contributed to its gradual decline. Simultaneously, international pressure also played a crucial role in bringing about the end of the Arab slave trade in East Africa. As global awareness of the horrors of slavery grew, diplomatic efforts and calls for humanitarian justice gained momentum. External powers, including the British, exerted pressure on those profiting from this inhumane trade, urging its cessation. This international condemnation shone a spotlight on the suffering endured by enslaved individuals and underscored the urgent need for change. Despite the profound impact of the Arab slave trade in East Africa on both the continent's history and the lives of its people, it has, regrettably, often been relegated to the periphery of historical discussions. The tragic stories of those who endured its horrors and the communities forever altered by its consequences have not received the attention they rightfully deserve. This oversight has left a gap in our collective understanding of the complex tapestry of human history, highlighting the importance of acknowledging and learning from these forgotten narratives. In conclusion, the Arab slave trade constitutes a complex and multifaceted historical phenomenon that evolved across centuries and regions within the Muslim world. Originating from pre-Islamic Arabian practices, it shaped labor systems, economies, and social structures in various ways. The roles of slaves spanned a wide spectrum, from powerful positions to harshly treated laborers. Challenges in studying this phenomenon arise from its vast scope and complex historical context. The legacy of the Arab slave trade reverberates through history, influencing perceptions of race, ethnicity, and modern events. Understanding this history is crucial for comprehending the intricate tapestry of human societies and their interaction.